This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of CWK Live, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zehr. So excited to talk Star Wars with each and every one of you. Yes, it is Bad Batch Eve. We're back in the Eves. I love when there's an Eve show because it means there's new Star Wars the next day. And we're excited about that. Let's bring in our friends as we talk about what's going to happen tomorrow in the world of Star Wars. Of course, it's the Bad Batch. Darren is here. Hello, CWK Day. Welcome. Hello, Darren. Great to see you, buddy. Mary is here as well. Hello, Mary. Happy day before Bad Batch Day. Yes, yes. Robert is here. Hello, Robert. Happy Tuesday to you. And we have Terry. Hello, Terry. He says, Bad Batch Eve. Let's do this. Let's do this indeed. Let me fix my camera. It's a little bit high. That's a little bit better. Nick is here. Hello, Nick. Happy CWK Day to you as well. And Blake is here. Hello, Blake. And there are others of you joining in as we speak. We've got a fun show tonight. What are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the top 5 things that you love about the Bad Batch. And there is a lot to talk about. We've got some Star Wars news, Aurebesh lessons continue, and naturally, your comments and questions. So let's kick off the show by taking a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Ding! Yes, so we've got some news on Valentine's Day, of all things. Actually, it's not of all things, it's perfect. We got the announcement of a brand new book in Star Wars The High Republic. The next adult novel is Temptation of the Force by Tessa Gratton. And you probably recognize the 2 characters on the front of this if you are a reader of Star Wars The High Republic. At the end of what is it? What is the last one? The Eye of, oh gosh, Markion Rowe is on the cover. Anyway, so we've got Avar Kriss on the cover. She is the female Jedi with the green lightsaber. And on the cover with her, does anybody know the answer? His name is Elzar Mann. And the 2 of them, as you can probably guess, they've got a little bit of a thing. There's a little bit of romantic tension there. And I don't know if you know this or not. I hope this isn't a spoiler. But it's not encouraged for the Jedi to have romantic relationships. Did you know that? I'm guessing you probably did because you're Star Wars fans and you've heard about this whole Anakin Padme situation. So this is, of course, again, takes place, a couple hundred years before the Phantom Menace. But the Jedi are still the Jedi. So this is going to be great, and they're both terrific characters. They spent a year apart from each other. The Eye of Darkness, that's what it's called. And so now they're reunited. They are reunited at the end of the previous one, and it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. Robert says, who made that rule? I'm sorry. I hope I didn't spoil anything for you, Robert. My next piece of news, it's just something I'm excited about. As many of you know, I write for StarWars.com. I'm one of the regulars there. And gosh, I've been doing so for almost 10 years. And my latest one came out on Valentine's Day as well. It is all about the Bad Batch's ship, the Marauder. So it is my Ships of the Galaxy column. So be sure to check it out at StarWars.com. You can just find it on the front page or just type in my name or the Marauder in the StarWars.com search bar, and you can find that there. So hope you enjoy that. That was a challenging one to write about. I'll tell you about that someday. Now let's go and talk about some merchandise. Merchandise. This is an Amazon.com exclusive. They're on sale now. I just checked. They're still in stock. But you probably remember the Siege of Mandalore and that epic showdown, the last couple episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Ahsoka, when she's escaping Order 66 with Rex, she has the aid of a couple of droids. Well, those droids, as well as Ahsoka from the Siege of Mandalore, are available in the Vintage Collection set, which is the 3 3/4-inch figures. There's the box. Let's take a closer look. There's all of the figures out of their packaging. Really nice. The one on the very left almost looks like it's got the chopper body, but with a more rounded head. And I don't remember the names of these figures, but I don't have to because they're all about to be shown for you. This is the back of the box. So again, there is Ahsoka. That's a new version of Ahsoka from the Clone Wars Siege of Mandalore. We have got, what is this? Oh gosh, I don't have my glasses on. I'm gonna have to consult the glasses here, everybody. I've always wanted to do this on the show. I'm gonna consult the glasses. We have is that R747? I guess. And there's another one. Yeah, the glasses aren't working. It's too small for me. It happens. It happens, boys and girls. Friends, there's the second one, and there is the third droid. And I really thought I'd be able to see them, but I made it too small for myself. Oh, well. Sorry about that. Anyway, if you're interested, they are on Amazon.com, and I will provide links for you in the cafe if you need them. This is brand new Star Wars band tees. Sice Noodles, Figurin' Dan, Max Rebo. There's actually 2 Figurin' Dan shirts. These are all brand new on the Heroes and Villains website, heroesandvillains.com. As you probably remember, if you use the code COFFEE20, you get 20% off your order, which is a really great deal. For new subscribers to their email list, it's only 10% off. So if you are a Coffee with Kenobi listener, put in the code COFFEE and you get 20% off. And there's 4 to choose from. The t-shirts that are offered from Heroes and Villains are amazing. They're typically tagless and they're very soft. Big fan. Big fan of that. So that is your news and merchandise information for this week. Now let's go into our top 5. So we've got, as promised, top 5 things you love about Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Burnt Waffle says some cool figures. They're nice. They're really nice. And welcome to the show, buddy. I'm looking forward to this. I had so much fun making this list because I love The Bad Batch. I know that you love The Bad Batch too. I know you're very, very excited about it. Speaking of that, as you probably saw online, got a lot of great coverage. I've seen the first 8 episodes of season 3. I will not spoil them for you. There will be reviews coming out soon. My review will be spoiler free. So I'm still not going to say anything just yet because it's not time yet. But look for that tomorrow, a spoiler free review. And also on Facebook, in the CWK Cafe, I will do like we do for all the Disney Plus shows. I will post, hey, share your spoiler free reactions, and I will post those on Wednesday morning. And they'll be spoiler free, as I just mentioned. And then Saturday morning is when you can go on and you can comment with spoilers. That just gives people plenty of time because the first 3 episodes drop the first day. And, that's a lot of time. And it's worth your time. But I know not everybody can jump to them right away. So I just want to that's a little bit of some programming information for you. Let's go into number 5. Number 3, I put camaraderie. There's something really cool and authentic about how the Bad Batch gets together, how they interact. Do they get along perfectly every single time? No, they don't. But that's okay. That's okay because they're like brothers. They're like family. And that's a natural part of family, as we know. But the thing is, they work it out. And they embrace each other's differences while sometimes struggling to meet in the middle. But they still do it. It's a wonderful example of camaraderie. And as I'm saying this, unrelated, I just realized I forgot the Aurebesh lessons. We'll go back to those after the top 5. How about that? Terry's number 5, character development and growth in the Batch, becoming more than soldiers. Yes, more than soldiers. They're people. They're soldiers, yes, but they're people more importantly. So that is a great one to kick it off for us. Mary's number 5 is family. They're family, and that's a good one. Darren says, it may be animated, but it's good storytelling. Exactly. Sometimes the best stories told, period, are animated, and this one is a great example of both. Robert's 5, it makes me feel like a kid again, reminded me of when I used to watch the A-Team, except the Bad Batch is much better. Someone had mentioned that to me a while ago, and I'd forgotten, but I love that. Robert, that is a great comparison. Very apt. Blake says it's a cheap option, but the animation, it's unreal what they can do now. I don't think it's a cheap option at all. I think that's important because it makes it come to life for you in very, very unique ways that I think stand out. So, Blake, I think that's a terrific option. I see there's quite a few more of you on that are commenting, which is totally great. You're certainly welcome to just enjoy the conversation. But if you feel the urge or inclination, whether you create a list or not, feel free to share things about the Bad Batch that you love. We're currently on number 5 now. Burnt Waffles, number 5. I like how it's animated like the original Clone Wars. It does have that feel, but it's like elevated just a little bit more because technology has evolved since the Clone Wars debuted in 2008? I think that's right, 2008. But I agree with you. It's pretty nice. Really nice. Well, let's go to number 4. Number 4, I put amplification. What I mean by amplification is I feel like the Bad Batch is amplifying the story of Star Wars during the beginnings of the Galactic Civil War. There is no rebellion yet because this is right after Revenge of the Sith. But things are already stepping in that direction. So this story amplifies Star Wars. It amplifies what we know about this mythology and adds more layers and depth and nuance to different aspects of this particular section of the Star Wars timeline. And it makes it better because I like knowing about the clones, but just seeing more people. I mean, as much as I love the Force, and it is probably my favorite thing about Star Wars, one of the things that's so rich about this series is it has nothing to do with the Force. It's just soldiers learning their place in the galaxy after everything they know and everything they've tried to figure out has been taken away from them. And that's very powerful. Very powerful. The Bad Batch amplifies Star Wars. It amplifies the era right after the Clone Wars and the Empire begins to grow. And I think that's amazing that they can add and bolster this great story. Let's see what you all have here. Darren's number 4, how the show started with showing how the Empire used the clones and the cloners. Yes. Again, amplification. It continues. Hey, how do we go from clones to stormtroopers? And what was that like for everybody involved? So good call, Darren. Terry's number 4, the correlation of events in accordance to the timeline of the Empire growing in strength and the depravity it brings. Well said. And a lot of people become depraved from this, including the clones themselves. Robert's next one, Omega's amazing love and patience with the team, including Crosshair. Robert, you're right. I'm shaking my head, which is not a really effective thing when you're on a podcast or video. But yes, Omega and how she interacts with everybody is so huge, especially with Crosshair. Blake, number 4, music. I forget the composer's name, but he nails it. It's the Kiner brothers. So it's Kevin Kiner works on it. And his sons, and they are terrific. They're absolutely terrific, and season 3 is no exception. Mary's number 4, character growth. None of our clones are the same people as they were before Order 66. That's a good point. That is a very, very good point. I agree with you. They're not, and that again, sort of, if I may borrow from some of you, it just again, it's an amplification of the story. Let's go to 3, impact. The impact of these characters on us is massive. It's massive. At the end of season 2, when one of the members of the Bad Batch sacrifices themselves, and I'm not using the name even though you probably all know it, but just in case, it affected me. Even watching like clip stuff or revisiting other things for research for other projects or podcasts or what have you, that impact is strong. Like, people got choked up. People got tears in their eyes. People broke down because of the impact of these characters. We care about them so much. And they're clones. I mean, a lot of people love the clones, but I think it's fair to say that besides Rex, no clones really had any character or story besides just being cool and interesting. In Clone Wars, there's some stuff. There's a couple of little things there, but nothing like in the Bad Batch. The impact of bringing these clones to life, all of them, Echo and the Clone Force 99, the original members of Bad Batch 99, and Omega themselves. It's a huge impact. And it's left an impact on my fandom, this show. I've said this before. Well, I don't know if I've said this before, but I feel at peace saying This is my second favorite Star Wars animated series. I put it below Rebels because of Rebels, but I put it above Clone Wars, and that's not against Clone Wars. I didn't think anything would go above Clone Wars, but the Bad Batch has done it for me. That's a big impact. Okay. Let's see. Number 4 for Burnt Waffle was that there were some clones that were deserted or defected. That's true. That's very true. Let's see. Darren says, excellent production, animation, voice, audio. You almost forget that you're watching animation. You're right, Darren. And speaking of, I don't know if you saw us or not, but about a half hour before the live show, I posted my interview with D. Bradley Baker of the Bad Batch. So first time I got to talk to him, I got to share that experience with a number of peers in the Star Wars fan podcast and YouTube community. So be sure to listen to my conversation and all of our conversations with D. Bradley Baker. Such a thrill. There's some cool stuff there. It's spoiler free too. So it's a great thing to listen to before you get to watch the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch. Terry's number 3, the introduction of minor characters affected by the Clone Wars and the rise of the Empire. Yes. 100 times yes. They all, how are they all? The minor characters. That's what I tried to say before, but I didn't say as well as you did. The minor characters, now they're affected, is so huge. Mr. Fudge is 3, more and more clones starting to realize they are doing good, and how, though they aren't doing good, yes, and how that impacts them. Mary's 3, bridging the story between the end of the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith to the beginning of Rebels. Yeah, I love that clue. It doesn't feel forced. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like we're just getting extra story just to have product out there. It's not like that at all. It's like, it seems like an essential part of the overall story, and I really like that. Robert's 3, I was going to watch it regardless because it is Star Wars, but I wasn't as excited about it as I was for other shows. I love the fact that it exceeded my expectations by far. That makes me happy too. I agree with you. Very much exceeded my expectations. I knew I'd like it. I didn't know I would love it. Hello there. Aaron Harris is here. What is up, Aaron Harris? Great to see you, pal. Blake's number 3, Crosshair. There's something really unique about him that we've never gotten out of Star Wars before. The episodes that he's been the focus of have been incredibly powerful. I agree. Some of my favorites have Crosshair at the center. Burnt Waffle, there were some Delta Squad members still alive, but sadly, they are working for the Empire. Did you think the Delta Squad could have not executed? You probably must have been cut off. So, here we go. Let's try this again. Burnt Waffle, there are some Delta Squad members still alive, but sadly, they are on the Imperial side. Do you think that more Delta Squad members won't execute Order 66? You know, that's a good question, Burnt Waffle. It's hard to say. I really think that chip is such a big part of this. And I still hope we get to find out someday about Crosshair and what's going on with his chip, because he's got that, he's got like that serious, like, scarring on the side of his head where you always assume the chip would be. But I hope we get to see kind of how that plays out, because I think that inhibitor chip is such a big deal, obviously. Let's go to 2. Number 2 for me, I put D. Bradley Baker. As you'll be able to see when you listen to my show with him, or if you've ever heard him, this guy is so engaging and so gregarious and so joy-filled and clearly immensely talented. He brings them to life. And as you'll hear in the interview, he's very quick and gracious to credit Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao and all the writers and all the animators and everybody involved in the production of Star Wars The Bad Batch. So he is selfless and humble about it, which is cool. But his impact on these characters, and you see on the Instagram stuff, some of it I posted in the Coffee with Kenobi stories, most of them are on StarWars.com, naturally, or the Star Wars official Instagram page or TikTok. But just him switching back and forth the characters, he just adds so much. And they all theoretically look alike or look similar, but he gives them all personality nuance by the way he changes his vocal inflections and his voice talents. He's a huge part of this. He is just an absolutely huge part of this. Let's see. Number 2 for Mary. I agree with Blake about the music. The story and how he experienced it is always impacted so much by that music. I agree, Mary. It's invaluable. Mr. Fudge's number 2 is the storyline. It's such a rich storyline, isn't it? Adding on that, Darren says the chemistry they created between these characters. It feels very realistic, doesn't it? How they interact and vibe with each other. Terry's too, how much of us share to some extent certain qualities of each of the Bad Batch within us, helping us relate to their struggles. Yeah, this is really good. Terry, I really like the philosophy you've brought to tonight's conversation with your comments on this, because it is somewhat relatable in a way. Just not what they're going through, but just how we deal with struggles and adversity. Number 2 for Robert, D. Bradley Baker's incredible portrayal of all the members of the Bad Batch. He's the man. He is the man. Blake says, I'm with Dan, and we'll see D for number 2. As someone who consumes more animation nowadays than live action, I love how voiceover artists do their art, and he's the best. Yeah, Blake, and sorry for the continual shameless plugs, but you're really going to like the conversation with him. He's such a cool dude. All right, let's go to number 1. The top thing that I love about Star Wars The Bad Batch is the character growth. And / my favorite. So I've got 2 things there. It's a tie. I know Corey doesn't like ties. So sorry, Corey. I like that all the characters grow. I'm, again, as an English teacher, as an avid reader and a writer, I think character growth is essential. Otherwise, why should I care? I'm not talking about background characters. I'm talking about the main characters. If they're not growing and learning and changing, then for me, and this is for me, why should I care about them? Everybody in the Bad Batch grows to various degrees. So much so that my favorite changes every season. Or sometimes every couple episodes. Like it fluctuates. Usually my favorites don't change. I like them for certain reasons and they continue to show that to me. But in the Bad Batch, my favorite is always evolving and changing. And that's great. That is amazing storytelling. I love that. And that combined with the character growth is the number one reason why I love Star Wars The Bad Batch. Let's see what other people have for their number 1. First, Burnt Waffles number 2 is showing Commander Cody, and also that his paint is now gray and not orange. Nice. Also that Cody seemed like he wants to defect in some way during the show. Good catch, Burnt Waffle. Darren's number 1, filling in stories that lead into the sequel trilogy. Yes. Number 1 for Mary is D. Bradley Baker. I won't argue with that. Robert says, number 1, I get emotionally involved with what seems to be silly Star Wars characters on the surface. Exactly. But they're not, because they mean something to us, and it's because of the way they are portrayed. So I get it. I love it. Terry says, memorable one-liners such as, when have we ever followed orders? And sometimes it's where it's hard to be the one that survives. Pretty profound stuff. Pretty profound philosophical stuff that goes beyond an animated series about Star Wars. Number 1 for Mr. Fudge, bringing back some famous clones and getting to see how some clones get affected by Order 66 differently. It's true. Number 1 for Burnt Waffles, the storyline was really good. It is. It so is. Aaron says, sorry I was late to the party. Catch Up 5, the animation is superb. 4, the character journey. 3, the expansion of the Star Wars sandbox from planets to characters. I like that. 2, Kevin Kiner, no said. And 1, the phenomenal talent of D. Bradley Baker. He's the man. He's just so great. Number 1 for Blake. It's a weird number 1, but how it hits me on emotional levels. I haven't always felt invested in new Star Wars, but they somehow, with this animated show, give me moments I'll never forget in this franchise. I agree, Blake. I totally agree. I agree. I'm just going to, I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait. Boy, oh boy, is it fun. All right, so let's talk about next week. As you know, tomorrow the new Bad Batch drops. We've got 3 episodes. Confined, Paths Unknown, and Shadows of Tantus. They all drop tomorrow on Disney+. So if you'll look at the top of this, next week we're going to do a top 10 moments. We're not going to do each one individually because I'll be a couple of weeks behind, and that's no good. I don't want to do that. So we're going to combine your top 10 moments from the Bad Batch's first 3 episodes, Confined, Paths Unknown, and Shadows of Tantus. We'll probably just be doing our top 10s will be really short on news and merch next week, unless something amazing happens, and it very well could, and that wouldn't be such a bad thing. So next week, get your top 10 moments up there and share them on Coffee with Kenobi. But now, we're going to go back a little bit and we'll do our Aurebesh lessons. Okay, so I am sorry about that. I usually do these right after we do the merchandise or the news and the merchandise, but I was excited to talk about Bad Batch, so I actually went out of order. It's okay. We're recovering. Before we start, get out your pen and pencil or paper and pencil and write the letters A through L. Okay, here we go. There's my letter A. There's my letter B. There is my letter C. There is my letter D. Hopefully everybody's writing this down too. A, B, C, D. There is my letter E. Let me think about the E. Oh, yeah. E. Okay. F. G. H. I. J. K. And then L. All right, so I did it. There it is right there. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. I had to refresh my memory on the L, but I practiced that one the least. So there it is. Hopefully everybody did. Whoops, let me bring the microphone back over towards me so you can hear me better. How did everybody else do on this? I'm doing so much better. Again, the goal is always to be able to read these things. Liberty and other people have been posting cool Aurebesh things in the CWK Cafe, which is a great way to test yourselves. So there's the letter A. This is how you can check your work. There is the letter B. Here we have the letter C. There's the letter D. There is the letter E, as if you don't know the order of alphabets. There's F. How did my F look? I did it backwards. Okay. I did my F backwards. It's still, that seems to be the one that I screw up the most. There's G. There's the H, the I, the J, the K. And then we've got a new one this week, and it is the letter. Wait. No, sorry. L is not. Jeez. Oh, boy. So there's K. There's L. And then the new one is M. And it almost looks like the way I remember it is, it looks like somebody's making a muscle. Like if they're standing to the side and they hold up their hand and they make a muscle, it looks like they're doing that. So that's how I'm going to remember the letter M. In fact, I'm going to draw it now. Yeah, the letter M looks like someone is making a muscle, which I think is pretty funny. Boy, this is another one that's hard to draw because the angles are very specific. I wonder if someone like Corey Clubb, what he thinks about Aurebesh, because it's such a unique design. But this one I feel like almost has to be blocky because the top or the bottom part kind of comes up at an angle. Yeah, it's a hard one to draw, isn't it? Because I don't really see a way to do it without making it just drawing like a straight line. Okay, maybe just draw a little slant up there. So there's the bottom one is the one I feel like I did the best at as far as trying to capture that unique kind of angle at the bottom. So another one that's going to be challenging, but not bad. Not bad. I'm kind of looking ahead at some of these, and it's fun to see. I'm picturing myself trying to draw these crazy things, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But our chat's been a little quiet. How's everybody doing with your Aurebesh lessons? Are there different things you'd like to see differently as we're learning these together? While you're thinking about that, are you aware, friends? We're halfway through the alphabet. So once you get these down, you are halfway through being able to read and write Aurebesh, which is fantastic. Give yourselves a round of applause if you've made it this far with us. If not, it's not too late to go back. I mean, every week we just do one new letter, and we're halfway through. So by the time we get towards the end of season 3 of the Bad Batch, you should be able to read Aurebesh. I love it. How cool is that? All right, it is time now to jump into Ask Dan Z. Okay, so here we are, friends. We have reached the end of CWK Live, but as we're wrapping up the show, please let you know if you have anything you'd like to ask me about. did you say you have seen 8 episodes of season 3 so far? Are you finding it difficult to choose your words carefully? I have seen 8. I've seen the first 8 episodes of season 3 of The Bad Batch. Am I finding it hard to choose my words carefully? Yes. Yes, I am. But I respect the mantra of no spoilers, and I will not spoil anything for you. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to come in fresh. And besides, I make promises, right? I make promises to you. I make promises to Disney and Lucasfilm that I won't spoil things. And I'm not going to, because I don't like when things are spoiled for me. So hopefully you're able to just enjoy it fresh, you know? Am I ready for baseball? Or are you ready for baseball? Yes and yes. I am ready. I am excited. Mason's excited about it too. How many episodes do you think there will be for the new season of The Bad Batch? Well, I know for a fact there's going to be 15. Mr. Fudge, go on coffeewithkenobi.com and type in The Bad Batch. You will see my post, which is the news post that was shared a couple of weeks ago. It's got the titles of every episode of The Bad Batch and when they come out. So there's going to be 15 episodes in season 3 of The Bad Batch, which is very, very exciting. While you're thinking about any other questions you want to ask me, I want to remind you again, summer 2025, the Disney Wish. I was talking about this weekend with a lot of people. I'm constantly trying to recruit people to make this adventure the coolest it could possibly be. Summer of 2025 on the Disney Wish with us, Coffee with Kenobi, and Mouse Fan Travel. Be sure to keep checking coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel, and hopefully we will get some news of that date, because I really want to put it on the calendar so we can get excited about that. Speaking of excited, as I said earlier, I just released my conversation with D. Bradley Baker. It was myself and several members of the Star Wars fandom media community. We got to talk with D about The Bad Batch, Clone Force 99, and his love of this galaxy far, far away. Great stuff. I think you'll love it. Speaking of great stuff, hopefully you'll feel the same way if you're a member of the CWK Alliance, which is our exclusive Patreon page. It's a great way to support me and Coffee with Kenobi, but you get access to CWK Pour-Over, an exclusive weekly audio and video podcast. This week, we looked at Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8. We're going through that entire series. Eventually, it may be really beneficial when the Marvel movie comes out. Plus, it's a lot of fun. So much fun. Which month in 2025 are you looking for the Disney Wish? June. The June of 2025 is when we're going to go. It's just a matter of what dates are available and what we can do. My favorite drink at Oga's, Nick, is probably the Carbon Freeze. I really like that one. Saw a rumor the next day may drop the 1st of March. I know you don't do rumors, but hoping that's true. I agree. I have no clue. I don't do rumors, but I hope that is true as well. Speaking of 2025 cruise dates, yes. Good. I think that would be awesome. It's also awesome to share this time with you every week, talking Star Wars with my friends, getting excited about The Bad Batch, or whatever is going on in the world of Star Wars. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and spreading the word about Coffee with Kenobi, the CWK Cafe, joining the CWK Alliance, going to the website coffeewithkenobi.com. All these things help build up this incredible community that we have, and I'm very excited and proud to be a part of it. So thank you all so much. Enjoy the 3-episode premiere tomorrow on Disney Plus, and be sure to go to the cafe and share your spoiler-free thoughts. Have a great week, everyone. Mary says, Mary, I hope you have a great week too. Mr. Fudge, to see you guys. Hand purple, blue piece. There you go. Thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to run, and I will see you next time. This is the live podcast you're looking for. May the stars light your way, and enjoy The Bad Batch.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.